Assalamu alaikum, good evening, namaskar. Welcome back to the second episode of Billy Likes to Cook. I'm Chef Bilal from Tuk Tuk Taxi, your favorite Indian restaurant here in Muscat city centre. Now you all must be wondering what happened to my quarantine look. So the first video, as soon as I made it, I sent it to my mother, and the first thing that she told me was, बेटा ये दाढ़ी क्या है? इंसान बन जाओ, फिर खाना बनाना. First of all, before starting the video, I would like to thank you all. Thank you so much for the love and for the support that you all have shown me. And few of the viewers already made the food, made the tomato cutlets, and this gives me real immense pleasure. I would also like to extend my thanks to my cameraman Ranjan Maiti, to a very good friend Ashish David, who's editing my videos, and to my chef team who's helped me to set this up, because I'm quite a lazy person, you know. So we start with the garam masala, the main ingredient in the biryani today. The main ingredients of the garam masala are the cinnamon, the green cardamom, and the cumin. Normally I like to take caraway seeds or royal cumin, which we call as Shahi Zira, but since I don't have Shahi Zira here, I've taken a little bit of fennel, saunf, to support the zira. So these are the basic ingredients, the main ingredients. Rest all are for add-on. The other ingredients just add a punch to your garam masala. If you don't have, don't worry. These three things will do the job. But if you do have some cloves, some black cardamom, some black pepper, some patthar ka phool, which is stone flower, and some Kashmiri dried red chilies. I'll just be back with the garam masala. This is the garam masala. First I roasted it in the pan so that it will leave the essential oils, which we look forward to, and then I ground it in a normal mixer grinder, and I strained it so that it is nice and fine. This is the chicken that I had marinated last night with some salt, turmeric, red chili powder, and ginger garlic powder. The exact recipe is mentioned down. It's not. Now I'm going to add some chopped coriander. Chopped coriander goes in. Chopped mint. Brown onion, which we call as birista. One by one I will add some salt, some cumin powder, some Kashmiri red chili powder, and little bit of turmeric, and the garam masala which we just prepared. I'm going to add some oil to this. And some more ginger garlic paste. So as we go through the video, I'm going to try and answer almost every question which normally people ask. But if you still have more questions, please comment and I will be more than happy to answer them. Let's start with ginger garlic paste. People often ask what's the ratio of ginger garlic paste. I like to take a 50-50% ratio, 50 ginger, 50 garlic. I'm going to rub it and massage it really well so that all the masalas go inside the brown onion and the meat. About the origin of the biryani. Many people say that biryani was invented in the early 15th century when the Persians came to India. Another school of thought says that biryani was invented in the early 16th century by Mumtaz Mahal, the wife of the Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan. In fact, even the Taj Mahal is erected inspired by Mumtaz Mahal. So once she went to the army barracks and she saw that soldiers were very malnourished. So she ordered the Khansamas to make a dish which will be equally balanced with carbohydrates, proteins and fats. That's everything that they would need. So they came up with a dish in which there was meat, there was rice, there was lots of fat, lots of ghee, and what they would do is pack everything in a pot and they would go into the forest. They would dig a hole in the ground and light some wood, put it in the ground and bury this pot. After 3 hours, when it came out, the biryani was ready. At this point, I'm going to add some green chili here, which I've got slit into half. It really depends on how spicy your green chili is. My green chili, the green chili that we have is quite spicy. So I've added it at this stage. Give it a nice mix and then I will add the curd. Now you have to be really generous with the curd because the curd is a medium which will become the masala later. The curd mixed with the brown onion and the mint and the coriander will become the masala, and the curd is the thing which will save your biryani from getting burnt, getting stuck to the pot. Again, give it a really nice mix. Really beautiful color. I have hoped for a nice orange color for the biryani. Again, I have to give it a really nice mix. There should be no granules of curd because when the final masala is made, it might look that it's curdled, which we don't want. So some more curd. At this point, we will introduce the side hero of the chicken, the potato. The potato I've got here, I've cut into halves and I've just fried it like a flash fry. Nice light golden brown. Not cooked it through, just a flash fry. Give it the color. So we've added the potatoes. Now there are two main types of biryani, and all the other biryanis that have come are the versions of these biryanis. There is basically the Lucknowi biryani, which is the pakke gosht ki biryani, and there is the Hyderabadi biryani, which is the kache gosht ki biryani, which we are doing today. This is called the Hyderabadi biryani. Both the biryanis are put on dum. Now, dum is a process of cooking, a method of cooking, in which you seal the pot and you leave it on a light simmer. That is the process of dum. So basically, essentially both are dum biryanis, but Lucknowi biryani is made with cooked meat. You would cook the meat first and then you would layer it with rice and put it on dum. The Hyderabadi biryani, we start with raw meat. So this what we are doing today is the Hyderabadi biryani. When Nawab Wajid Ali Shah from Lucknow, he was exiled to Bengal, the state of Bengal, he took his chefs along with him because they really like to eat food and they were hardcore non-veg lovers. But at that time, there was a shortage of meat in Kolkata, in Bengal. So to make up for the shortage of meat, they started adding potatoes and boiled eggs. Hence the Kolkata biryani. So as I said, each and every biryani that has come off is a version of these two biryanis. Every state has their own version of biryani. There's a famous Ambur biryani in Tamil Nadu. I have gone to Ambur. They make the biryani, they make the mutton or the chicken broth and then they cook the rice in it. That's another very good version. It's served with Bengan ka salan. It's very nice. We're going to add some ghee to the yogurt. Now please be generous with the ghee. Don't think that, oh, I'm on a diet. Diet is one letter away from die. Just one letter. Nice ghee. Just clean the sides of the lagan. The lagan I'm using is a brass lagan. If you don't have a brass lagan, use any aluminium pot or a steel pot. But normally, traditionally it was made in a copper or a brass lagan because these materials are very good conductors of heat. Once the heat is absorbed by the material, they slowly give it inside to the food. That is why the copper and the brass was used. Inside it was lined with an alloy of tin. That's done. Let's just give it a taste. Perfect. I'm going to add some sliced tomatoes. So even though I'm doing a Hyderabadi biryani, which I learned in my time in the Taj Falaknuma Palace, Hyderabad, but this is my own version. If you tell a Hyderabadi that, oh, I'm putting tomatoes in the biryani, he would most likely stop talking to you. There is no tomato, there is no potato in the biryani, in the Hyderabadi traditional authentic biryani. But this is my version of the biryani. Voila, we're done. The water is boiling for the rice. I'm just going to add some spices to the water. Here I've got some bay leaves, some cinnamon, some green cardamom, some cumin and some cloves. The water for the rice is boiling. You can see the color of the water has changed because of the spices. I'm going to add some salt. Okay, not some salt, it is a lot of salt, because we are going to strain the rice out. Now, for the first few times that I ever made the biryani always had less salt. And I used to ask my grandmother, why does it happen to me? So she said that you have to taste the water of the salt. And the amount of salt in this should be the amount of salt that is there in your tear when you cry. That was one valuable learning that I learned from my grandmother. Perfect. So it should be more salty because you're going to strain the rice out. The rice, let me just talk about the rice. We have taken India Gate Basmati rice. This is one of the best qualities of rice that I like to use for the biryani, because it's very easy to use. Even if you leave the biryani for some more time, it will not turn into a khichdi or it will not turn mushy. I have soaked the rice for about an hour. Soaking the rice will help it to retain its shape, the long shape, and it will be more fluffy. What I like to do is I like to strain out the spices before I put in the rice, because nobody likes the cardamom or the black pepper in your mouth, right? While having the biryani, it's a very big turn off, at least for me. So basically what has happened is the spices have left their flavor in the water, and the color of the water is proof of that. So without any doubt, you can fish out the spices. At home, if I were there, my mother would dry the spices and use them again, but in the restaurant we take some liberties. So I'm going to add the rice. The water is boiling. I'm going to add the rice, and as soon as I add the rice, it will stop boiling. When it starts to boil again, that time you will know that it has cooked up to 50%. We are going to add the rice to the biryani in layers. The first layer will be about 50% cooked. The second layer will be about 75% cooked. Now today I'm doing a chicken biryani, but if you want to do a mutton biryani, just go about the same process till here. The same masalas, the same yogurt, potato, tomatoes, yogurt, everything is the same. Just the rice. The first rice which you will remove will be about 30% cooked for the mutton biryani. It will be in 3 layers. The first 30% cooked, the second 50 to 55%, and the third 70 to 75%. Mutton will be done in 3 layers, chicken will be done in 2. And for the vegetarians, the same process. You can add any vegetables that you would like. like normally in the restaurants we add potatoes, carrot, beans and green peas. You can go crazy, you can add asparagus, you can add mushrooms, you can add cauliflower, anything. Just use your imagination. Just blanch the vegetables before you start this process off. And again, for the vegetable biryani, it will be in two parts. The rice will come out in two parts. A little bit more than 55, about 60% cooked rice. Then again 75% cooked rice. And you will keep it for a lesser time. So today we will keep this biryani on the tandoor. I am cooking it on the tandoor because I have the liberty. You can cook it on a normal stove. Please don't forget to add a thick wrought iron tawa on the base so that your meat does not stick. Now another thing, the ratio of meat to rice. The ratio of meat to rice is always 1:2. 1 kg rice to 2 kgs meat. Here I have taken about 2.2 kilos of meat. I had 2 whole chickens and the rice is about 1 kg. Because the protein in the meat, it shrinks and the starch in the rice, it swells. So the rice will become double of the quantity and the meat will become half of the quantity. The rice is about 50% cooked, as you can see. So my first layer is ready to go in. If some of the water goes in, don't worry. The starch is required for the biryani. Now a couple of minutes more and then we'll be ready to put the second layer of rice. Now after a couple of minutes of boiling the rice, it has reached about 70% done and my second layer is ready to go in. We are ready to add the toppings, the ghee. Again, please be generous because this is where the taste lies. Now I've got some saffron milk. To get the best results from saffron, you must roast it in a pan. Then with your hands just crumble it. Add some water and boil the water, then add a little bit of milk. Now we use a little bit of color in the biryani, so it will give it a nice color to the rice. If you don't want, please skip the color. I've got some elaichi powder, green cardamom powder. The same way you roast the cardamom, blend it and strain it. Just I will add a little bit on top for the nice aroma. For that last of aroma when I will open the biryani, a little bit of brown onion and a little bit of mint. Add some water to the sides of the lagan. I've got my silver foil. This is convenient. Traditionally, they add some dough and seal the lid on top of the dough. But the silver foil is much more convenient. Keep adding some water. If you add 2 or 3 layers, it will be much better. You know, the dum cooking is a primitive type of the pressure cooker because there's going to be a pressure which is going to be built up inside and that will cook our chicken and our rice. So this is our tandoor. Let there be light. Here goes Bismillah. Here goes my biryani. Come to open our biryani. It has been on tandoor for about 1 hour 15 minutes. And let's see what we have done here. Not bad. Let's see, this is the first time we should see if it has gotten stuck to the bottom or not. Well, not there. Some garnish. I've got some birista, fried cashew, fried pine nuts and fried raisins. That's our dum biryani, Hyderabadi dum biryani. Let's try. Wow. That's our biryani. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel Billy Likes to Cook and hit the bell icon. Be safe, spread the love, happy cooking.